So, okay, update. I went to go see the doctor, and the good news is he said, go ahead and come off the medicine. He doesn't completely believe that that's causing all the issues. So we talked a little bit, and um, it's so hard for me to see, this type of transplant as a transplant. You think of a transplant as someone, having surgery and they remove a heart, and they replace it with a new heart. Well, I have to remember that that's what happened to me, is when they did the chemo bomb, as they so speak. It kills your blood and your immune system so that they can replace it, and they replace it with stem cells. It's not evasive as far as surgery goes. However, it's very evasive as far as your body and the things that you have to do to remove the old immune system. So your body does take a long time to heal because it's your blood, it's your whole body. You're not replacing one piece, one part. You're not having surgery on one area. Your chemo is not directed at one area. Your radiation is not directed at one area. Um, so it is, you have to remember that it's your entire body, and that it um, is, I feel like I'm behind on my recovery. And he so put it very bluntly that I am no way behind on my recovery, and that he is just extremely happy that I don't have any infections and that I don't have GVHD. And I guess GVHD is very prevalent. And the problem being, too, um, when I was going in for the transplant, my understanding, and I'm not sure how, I'm not going to blame or say, but my understanding was that the leading cause of death in leukemia patients is infection, when that's not true. The disease itself is the number one thing that will kill a leukemia patient. The next thing is GVHD, and that's where your body fights the transplant. But it's funny because in most cases, when you get a heart transplant, your immune system, your cells that fight bad cells, are fighting the new heart. Okay? When you get GVHD with a bone marrow transplant, it's the other way around. Your new cells are going, the body's foreign. So the cells that you have that are becoming your new immune system are actually fighting your body. So that's really kind of weird, but that's the way it works. So it's a whole different ballgame. So that's the second reason why, or the second most popular way to die from leukemia. That's a bad way to put it. Infection can be irritating and harmful, and it can kill you, absolutely, because what happens when your immune system's down, if you get an infection that you can't fight, and if the antibiotics aren't working and they can't pinpoint it, because when you have leukemia, you can get an infection on things that you never would have dreamed. A normal person wouldn't get the infection for that, because your immune system is just dead. And as your immune system's growing, even though all the numbers are there, I guess it's still liable. And he said, my body is still healing, so I'm still going through the healing stage, which means that my shortness of breath, my weakness, my fatigue could also be just from continuing to heal. I've been thinking my recovery slow. He's saying no. I said, I thought, like after 2 years, I should be like Superwoman again. And, he goes, I don't know where you heard that, but that's absolutely not true. So, and everyone's different. And, but yeah, so he goes, I'm super pleased with your recovery. I look at your numbers and I look at where you're at. And when they say numbers, it's your blood. It's all about your blood. So, with the type of leukemia I have, it's the Philadelphia positive chromosome. It comes back. It can come back. It doesn't always come back, but it can come back. It's known to come back. So they kill it, get a bone marrow transplant, and someone can get it back again. So what they do is when they put me in remission, they put me on this drug, the one that I'm taking right now, and it attacks that specific chromosome, that specific cell, or whatever that looks like. It attacks that specifically. So it's they use it for people with what I have as a hopefully, you won't get it. He said he's not that worried. They have no real. He couldn't give me any real numbers. He said I don't have any real numbers to give you on whether this is, something that'll work. He said everyone's trying different things. Some people are on it for a year. Some people are on it for 3 years, 5 years. He goes, in some um, places they put their patients on it forever, and so everyone's dealing with it differently, and they're trying different ways. And I guess it's new. It's still very, very new, so they don't have good numbers on how this is working. He said the first 2 years, if you're gonna normally get it back, it's usually within the first 2 years. That doesn't mean I'm out of the woods. The chances are less and less as time goes on. And I didn't know that either. So I didn't know that, I thought like 10 years from now I could suddenly just get it, which I can, and I don't want to take that away from the table, but, and I don't want to have false hopes that I'll never get it again, because with or without the drug, I could get it again. And he was very specific about that. He said it is, it's something that they've just, have a way of doing it right now. Since when I had my bone marrow biopsy 3 months after my transplant, there was a small, tiny bit of trace of the chromosome left. When they did it at a year, there was none. But what he proposed, because he even said, like, if you get it again, we have ways of, treating it quickly. So if we're doing this one blood test every 3 months, we can stay on top of it. He said, if you're going to get off of it, I'd prefer that you come in every 3 months and get that blood test. He goes, we were going to go to 6 months, but he thinks I should stay at 3 months if I'm going to come off the medication, which is an even trade. However, financially, coming off the drug is going to be harder for me. It's a very expensive drug, but I have copay help through the whoever makes the drug, Squib. I don't know. Anyway, they give you copay help. So what it does when they have the copay help, it goes right to my deductible or to my max out of pocket rate. So my copay on that drug is $500 a month. And so it comes out of the pharmacy. They're paying the $500. So that goes straight to my lifetime out of my pocket, out of pocket money. So in this test that I have to do is like out of my pocket, it's a lot of money. It's probably $300 or $400, and I have to do that 3 times a year. So I'm going to be reaching my max out of pocket every year, probably for a while. So I just have to put that at $5,000 as part of my budget, yearly budget, to go to medical. Once I hit the 5,000, I'm at my max out of pocket, but I have to remember that, I would rather do that, because that way, if I get if I get it back, they can go after it quickly. And he said too, there's new ways since I was sick that they have ways of treating it when it comes back and things happen. So that was promising. That idea was promising too, because that's always scary. And how do you notice it when it comes back? Because it's not prevalent. The test is really the only way. They figured I had it for at least 6 months, at least, before I was diagnosed. And I was diagnosed, thank God, before, I bled out. I mean, because what happens with that is your platelet count goes way down. And, people discover that they have it because they get a bruise that won't go away, or they bleed and it doesn't heal quickly, or maybe sometimes not at all. They have to go in to have that done, and that's how it gets caught. And sometimes even to the point where people start having organ failure because they don't get bruised or something. They don't see that part, but they're not getting enough oxygen to all their other body areas and their organs. And then the organs start going, whoa, I need oxygen, man, to survive, and you're not giving it to me. So those are usually the way it gets caught. I was lucky I had pain in my legs. And it wouldn't go away. It felt like the flu, but it wasn't the flu. So I got kind of lucky. So I'm not, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to stop using it. I'm also going to, I think a lot of the problem is the water retention, and that I do believe is directly related to the drug. I'm also going to, there's dandelion tea and stuff that, helps get rid of that retention. And I'm going to do that so that I start kind of moving forward. And I think the breathing has directly related with the water retention. Um, I don't know if any of you have ever had water retention, but it sucks. And sometimes you feel like your body's so full. So I'll be curious to see how that all. Anyway, I gotta get ready for work. So there's the update, and sorry it took so long, but I just wanted to give the information that I got, and then I have a recorded version of it too.